All right, so welcome to another episode of Methough. I guess this is gonna be episode 2, even though I've never released the first one, which I still need to, but it's just so fucking long. I'm almost done with it. I just been bullshitting, to be real with you. But anyway, if you don't know what Methough is about, it's essentially where because I don't have a camera yet, I just cut on the microphone and just talk about whatever the fuck I feel like talking about. And yeah, that's pretty much sums up this whole series. And today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And here's the reason why. Ever since Episode 7, pretty much, like before it came out, so ever since they announced Episode 7, which was like back in 2015, I think, or something like that, I've wanted to go through all of the Star Wars stuff that's considered canon and that's in the movie or TV medium. So I wanted to watch all the movies 1 through 6, and I wanted to watch both of the Clone Wars series, the 2D one made by your boy Genndy Tartakovsky, who made Samurai Jack and all that shit, and then the 3D Clone Wars that came on in like the late 2000s, like 2008 or something like that. I don't remember. Maybe like 2009. That 3D Clone Wars was on Cartoon Network, and I never did. I wanted to do it when Episode 8 came out. I never did. I wanted to do it when Solo and Rogue One came out. I never did. But since Episode 9 is the last one in this new trilogy, I was like, I'm going to make an initiative to do it. So I started this weekend with The Phantom Menace. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we really get into it, I want to make this explicitly clear. I do not have like a nostalgia boner / nostalgia glasses for any of these movies. I enjoy these movies. I enjoy the world of Star Wars, but I don't have the nostalgia glasses and boner like a lot of people have. So with me being critical about them, it doesn't mean that I hate them or I don't like them or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to sit here and let nostalgia cloud my judgment, essentially. Because that's what a lot of people do. You know, like they always say, oh, well, you know, I grew up with that movie. Yeah, but it don't mean that you can't critique it. It don't mean you can't be critical of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just putting that out there. I'm being critical of it because I want to. I don't have the nostalgia glasses like a lot of people, so I'm not going to dismiss certain things because I grew up with it. You know, like one of my favorite examples to use for this whole nostalgia thing that a lot of people like to use and put up for critiquing movies on why they won't or dismiss certain things is like the 1998 Godzilla. Yeah, that Roland Emmerich film that everybody hates, which I'm not gonna lie to you, that movie does fucking suck, but I grew up with it though. But I can still critique it though. As you see, I just said it sucks. And I can get more in depth on it, more than that. You know, I'm not one of them head ass niggas that just say something sucks and that's it. But you get my point. I grew up with that movie. That was one of my first introductions into Godzilla. I love that movie till this day. But I know it sucks, and I can be critical about it. I know a lot of people will tell you otherwise, that you can't be critical about something and love it, but you actually can, okay? But anyway, so with all of that bullshit out the way, let's actually get into The Phantom Menace. So, with this film, I haven't seen it in a while. And when I mean in a while, I mean in a while. The first time I saw it was just like most people. I was a kid. My dad took me to go see it, took me and my sister to go see it. And just like a lot of people, the only part that I really remember for a long time was the pod racing scene. And then I remember I ended up seeing it another time way later when I had cable. And I remember Spike TV did a marathon of all the Star Wars movies. And that was actually how I had seen the original Star Wars films. Because I didn't know about them up until that point. Because once again, I was a kid when Episode 1 came out. I didn't even know there was 3 other movies before then. So when Spike TV had showed them, that's when I figured out about 4, 5, and 6. And then I ended up watching 1 and 2 again, and then Episode 3 as well. I think I might have went to go see that one in theaters. I can't remember. But I know I ended up seeing it. And that's how I ended up seeing the whole series essentially up until that point. You know, was through Spike TV. So shout out to Spike TV. And you know, that was pretty much it. I haven't seen it since then. So going back and watching it now, yeah, I can see what a lot of people are talking about. This movie's boring. Like and see, this is one thing that I've noticed over the years, at least for me. Over the years with me essentially wanted to become a director somewhere down the line. I don't know when or where, but I do want to go towards that profession eventually. I pay attention to a lot of the things that make a movie. So, that's like plot structure, subplot, storytelling in general, characters, shots, angles, locations. I pay attention to a lot of that stuff, green screen effects, all of that now. Like every movie I see, I analyze that stuff. It's hard for me not to watch a movie without analyzing that shit now. And looking at this movie and having the thought process that I have now, this movie's just boring, man. I don't care for any of the characters in this movie. And to me, one of the things that is most important when it comes to telling a story or anything like that is that you either have to have one or the other. Like, you have to have one or the other, right? You either have to have strong characters or you have to have a strong story. And in this case with this movie, it doesn't have either. I don't give a fuck about any of the characters in this movie. And I shouldn't be saying it because I love Obi-Wan, but this is not the Obi-Wan we know. This is not like Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan that is so likable, or even like the television show Obi-Wan, the Clone Wars television show, television show Obi-Wan. It's not him yet. It's like young Obi-Wan. And it's like, yeah, you're seeing like him evolve into that, but it's not interesting. I've never been a huge fan of Qui-Gon Jinn. I've never been a huge fan of Darth Maul. So like all of these characters that are in this movie, I just don't give a fuck about. I know we get to see a young Anakin. We get to see Padme / Senator Amidala. Like, she has like 2 personalities or whatever. Which for the longest, for some reason, I thought that she wasn't Senator Amidala talking about Padme, but then she actually is. And for a long time, like even when I was watching the movie, I was like, I thought they was the same person, because like that's how long it's been since I've seen it. And it turns out that she was. But you get my point. Like, I just didn't give a fuck about any characters essentially. And when you have that, for me personally, when that is going on, where I don't care for the characters, I don't care for the story, I'm checking out. And what I was saying earlier, to come back around full circle, is that I can like feed off if you only have one of either. And these are the examples I love to go to, because it just really like it perfectly summarizes where I'm getting at with this. So like an anime where I love the characters, but the story is kind of like whatever for me, it's something like Cowboy Bebop, right? Cowboy Bebop doesn't have like an overarching narrative. It's just about motherfuckers in space doing shit. That's pretty much what it's about. But because the characters are so lovable, you'll watch them do anything. That to me is like the perfect example of like having characters that are so strong that you'll watch it no matter what the story may be. On the opposite end of where the characters are fucking terrible, in my personal opinion, I gotta say that because this is a popular anime. Like, Cowboy Bebop's pretty popular. It's a classic. Like, you can't deny that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't argue with me on that. There is no I forgot to put my phone on silent. That most people wouldn't argue with me that there is no overarching narrative on Cowboy Bebop. Sorry, my phone fucked me up. On Cowboy Bebop. So, but the characters are still solid, regardless. But anyway, another show that has like shitty characters, once again, in my personal opinion, but has a very solid story, it has a very solid lore to it, is Attack on Titan. I always use this as my prime example, because every single character, well, except for one, I can't say every single character, but damn near every single character in that show I fucking hate, except for Levi. Levi's always been my nigga since he got first introduced. But every other character, I literally give 2 shits about. I can't give 2 shits about. Like, I don't care about fucking Eren. I don't care about Mikasa. I don't care about Armin. I don't care about, like, anybody you talk about in that show. I don't fucking care about, besides Levi. But because the story and the world that they built for that is so fucking solid and is so interesting, I can read it. Because I read the manga. I don't care about the anime. I just read the manga. And like, that's like, basically that's like my perfect example of like flip-flopping, like, or not flip-flopping, but like both sides of that story. You have one show with real strong characters. I don't give a fuck about the story because the character's so strong. And then you got one where I don't give a fuck about the characters, but the story's super strong. So once again, when you don't have either of those, it becomes a bit of a chore. And that's what it is with Phantom Menace. It's just boring, man. Nothing. I didn't care about anything that happened in that. Okay, they found Anakin. Cool. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't. Qui-Gon Jinn dies. I don't give a shit. I genuinely did not care. Darth Maul, I've never been a huge fan of Darth Maul, so him doing his whole thing, I didn't fucking care. Just his whole movie was just chock full of, I don't fucking care. Like, to me, honestly, this movie, we really could have skipped this movie. We could have honestly skipped this movie, to be real with you, because when you really look at it, I mean, the only two important things that really needed to be shown was where Anakin came from and Palpatine becoming Chancellor. That's pretty much it. If you look at any other thing that happened in this movie, there was really no purpose to it. Jar Jar being there, which, let me go ahead and address Jar Jar. I know that's one of the biggest critiques of this fucking movie is like, Jar Jar is just fucking trash. Like, he just fucking sucks. And to be real with you, I really didn't mind Jar Jar. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not over here fucking clapping for him and laughing at his stupid antics. But at the same time, I'm not over here like, Jar Jar. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm just like, okay, dude, can we get past this already? Like, I'm fucking over it. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't too much mind Jar Jar, but I, you know, wasn't angry about him either. It was just like, whatever, dude. I don't fucking care. Can we just go on? You know, and the same thing goes with Jake Lloyd. Or is that his name? I think his name is Jake Lloyd. The little kid or the person, because he's no longer a kid now. But at the time, you know, the kid who played young Anakin. You know, I know a lot of people was like really getting on him and like just ripping him a new asshole. Like, oh my God, he's so bad. Which, to be honest with you, once again, I didn't mind Jake Lloyd. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not the best child actor to ever exist, but I mean, at the same time, y'all motherfuckers act like he was the worst thing to ever happen. And it's like, his acting wasn't that bad. I mean, at least he tried. The fucking kid from Godzilla 2014 to me is even worse. Like, I hate the kid from 2014 Godzilla. Like, he was just on some other shit. Like, it didn't matter what was going on. It's almost like he wasn't in the same movie. And his acting was so bad. Like, to me, that's the type of shit you need to be, like, going in on. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Still, at the end of the day, they're a kid, so you really shouldn't be that hard on them. But I'm saying, like, if you're going to choose one, fucking choose the right one. You know, Jake Lloyd wasn't that bad. At least he tried to put in some effort. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to be a Macaulay Culkin. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to be a fucking Haley Joel Osment. And, what's the name of that movie he was in? Fuck. What's the name of that goddamn... Fuck, y'all know what movie I'm talking about where he said I see dead people. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. With Bruce Willis. I can't think of the name of that goddamn movie, but you get my point. Not everybody's gonna be that good. Not every child actor is gonna be at that caliber. But Jake Lloyd wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. But yeah, man, this movie it was just whatever to me. It's just whatever to me, man. Like, I didn't care about the Gungans and all of that shit that was going on with them. Cause I don't even, really, to be real with you, I didn't even see a point of the Gungans, to be real with you. Cause to my knowledge, they don't even serve a purpose out of this. Like, the only one that really keeps on popping up, and then even then he only pops up for a little bit in the television show, the Clone Wars television show, was Jar Jar. I don't think you ever see a Gungan outside of Jar Jar in the Clone Wars show. I don't even think they visit the Gungans again. So it's kind of like that really didn't serve a purpose. To be real with you, even though I like the pod race, I felt like the pod race didn't really serve a purpose either. It was kind of just there. And that's what I feel about this whole movie in general. It's just like, it's just there. Nothing to me really needed to happen. It didn't really do anything to give you an insight on anything. Once again, the only important pieces out of this entire 3-hour movie, by the way, is Anakin, where he comes from, and how Palpatine became Chancellor. That's literally it, dude. That's literally it. That's all that you can take away from this, because the rest of it serves no fucking purpose. I mean, I guess you can say maybe Darth Maul serves a bit of a purpose, but at the same time, dude, Darth Maul, he doesn't show up to the fucking Clone Wars television show. And that was how many years after that? It's like, whoa, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, wow, you showed us Darth Maul, but then he gets killed, or supposedly killed, and we don't see him for like how many ever years it was after that movie to up until the Clone Wars series, which, what, he didn't even show up to like season 3 or some shit, didn't he? Like, I don't remember exactly, but I know he wasn't like in the first couple of seasons though. So it's just like, what was the point of this movie? And that's just how I feel overall. I don't think this movie, like, I'm not gonna say that it's bad, but I'm not gonna say it's good. I just feel like there's no point. There was no point. To me, if all you can take away from this entire 3-hour movie is just fucking Anakin, where he comes from, and how Palpatine became Chancellor, to me, you could have that means that this movie really didn't need to be made. That's just how it is to me. Because to me, the pod racing was unnecessary. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I understand it. They needed the pod racing so he could win, so Anakin could win, so then therefore he could be free. Yada yada yada. I get all of that because they do a good job of trying to, connect every little thing that happens to it being connected again to the overall plot. Like every little thing that doesn't need to happen, they somehow connect it, or there's a thread to like the overarching plot of the story in some way. But at the same time, it's still just one of those things of, did we really need to sit through all of that for just 2 little important nuggets, you can say, for the overall Star Wars lore? Like, I don't think so. But that's just me. So yeah, that's just pretty much my thoughts on episode 1 of The Phantom Menace. It wasn't really bad, but it wasn't good either. It was just kind of forgettable. It's just fucking forgettable. Didn't really need to be made. Didn't really need to exist. There's not much else I can really say because once again, there's really nothing in this movie of any significance. Like there's outside of those 2 things I've been harping on, there isn't anything. Like I'm legitly trying to sit here and think about it, and I can't think of anything else to bring up because it's just like, okay, well yeah, that happened, but that wasn't really important. Now it's just a thing that happened. I will say this though, the CG doesn't hold up well. Hell no. The CG does not hold up well at all in this movie. You can tell this was like their first time using CG. Talking about like, I guess you could say like, well, no, not really. But like what I'm getting at is that you could tell this was like the beginning phase of them using CG in the Star Wars movies essentially. Or at least in the prequels, you could say, because this shit looks bad. I mean, it looks pretty fucking bad. In my personal opinion. Like once you've seen how green screen works and blue screen works and all of that stuff, you're always going to notice the little halo around people. You're always going to notice that shit. And that's what I did. I've noticed it every single time. I was like, that background's fake as fuck. They're not even standing there. Oh, they're not walking on that. That's fake as fuck. They're not even looking at whatever the fuck they're supposed to be looking at. Like, that's how bad it was for me. Which a lot of casual viewers are not going to pay attention to that. But for me, who's into that and trying to get into that, to that field, or have that as a profession, I noticed all of that, and I'm like, yo, this shit looks fucking terrible. Episode 3 didn't look as bad. I mean, but episode 3, I've always thought episode 3 was pretty good, but that's just my personal opinion. But we'll get to that in due time. But yeah, man, just the movie's not bad. It's not necessarily good either. It's very skippable. You don't really have to watch it. What I told you about Anakin and Chancellor, that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know about this movie, and you pretty much can skip it. Yeah, so be prepared to hear another one of these, but for episode 2, because what I'm doing is that I'm going in chronological order. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've been trying to segue into, but I didn't know how, so fuck it. We just gonna ram right into it. So I'm doing this in chronological order. So what I saw from one website, which I'm pretty sure there's gonna be somebody out there saying, well, that website is not entirely correct. The real chronological order is blah 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 blah. But the chronological order that I saw, which made the most sense to me, is of course is episode 1, 2, and then the Clone Wars television show. Like I said, even though the Genndy Tartakovsky one is no longer canon, which just fucking blows my mind, because I love that one because it's the best version of Grievous. But we'll get to that when we get to it. I'm not gonna talk about that now. But that whole series is not considered canon anymore, or is not considered canon. Yeah. So I'm going to do that and the 3D one, which is still considered canon. And then I'm going to go 3. And then it's supposed to be, I think it said it was Solo, then Rogue One. But I think you can switch those out because they don't intersect with one another. Solo and Rogue One, like they don't share the same characters and anything like that. Like they're just their own 2 separate stories. So I think you can switch those out. It could be vice versa. But they said Solo and then Rogue One. And then, of course, it would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then whenever 9 comes out. So be prepared for a lot of videos of me talking about Steelers because I enjoy the series. And like I said, I just want to go back through it and see the history and, you know, brush up on all the lore and all the things that have happened in this fucking universe before episode 9 comes out and see how much they fucked that up. Because I'm going to tell you now, this episode 9, man, after episode 8, I just don't give a shit. And based off that trailer, which it could be good, I'm not going to sit here and shit on it, but I'm just saying still, by the way it looks, it don't look like it is. Cause but we'll get to that in due time. I'm not gonna harp on it. I'm gonna try to save stuff and stop rambling on. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't know when I'm gonna do episode 2. I plan on watching it sometime this week. But yeah, just be prepared for more of these Methoghs and the Star Wars shit. I just gotta stop being lazy and actually fucking edit these things and put them up. So that's all.